Hi, welcome back. It's that time of year again. We're approaching Christmas and it's time to get decorating our house and our home and make everything look gorgeous. Now, as you can see, I'm surrounded by lots of foliage, and foliage is what Christmas is all about. Let's face it, the holly and the ivy all coming indoors, and there's so much we can use that's out there, and as I always say, it's that bringing in something free from the garden or the hedgerow that is going to make the flowers look 10 times better. So today I wanted to talk about Amaryllis. Now, this is a flower that appears at this time of year. It is quite pricey. You don't need many of them. But I know a lot of people don't know really what to do with them once they've bought them. So I'm just going to give you a few tips of the best way to get the best out of them. So, tip number 1, a straight vase is quite a good idea. If the vase is splaying out and the amaryllis are leaning over, the weight of them once they are open is going to bend the stem, and then you'll just have them all flopping over. So tip number 1, straight vase. Tip number 2, a very little amount of water in the vase. As you can see, let's have a look at them. As you can see, they come from a bulb. And so if this is all covered in, immersed in water, it's just going to turn to mush, and then you'll just get the flower bending over. So just a bit of water. That's fine, but then that limits you what you can put in with it. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, and I think it will last well over Christmas and look good for some time. So you've bought them out of a box probably on a flower store, I would think. So they haven't been in water, so they need a snip. And just a little bit off the bottom, just so they aren't dry anymore. And we're going to start putting them in. So I think I'm going to put my amaryllis in first and then attack the rest of the things I'm going to put in. So let's go. They come in the most wonderful colours. I'm going to tell you something else. Once they start to open, it's quite good just to pull that pollen off. Just very simply pull it off. Now, I do know that they're expensive, but they're going to last 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks over Christmas. So it's not a bad investment for that sort of vase that's in the hall as people come into the house, etc., etc. So I'm doing this back. I have to get a few in there so they'll support. So forgive me if it looks rubbish to start with. Pulling the pollen off. Now they do come in beautiful colours. I'm a bit of a red girl myself at Christmas. So red is my favourite. And they've a couple of colours of red, that lovely rich velvety clarity colour, and like a scarlet, a very inky, almost dark, very, very dark red. This colour's becoming ever so popular, this coral. White, of course. And it comes with one that's white with a red fleck, which is nice. Not just for Christmas, really. This colour's not just for Christmas, is it? So I know this is looking rubbish at the moment, but I've just got to get them in, and we'll go from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's call it around 10, maybe 9, maybe. Am I going to be able to get those in? Isn't this funny? The sort of thing you don't think about how you do it, but you just when you're having to demonstrate to someone, it becomes a lot trickier. Anyway, I'm sure that's too tall now. Hold on. Right, okay. I know that looks odd at the moment, but bear with me. When I was first in floristry, I was taught to put a stick up inside the stem. And it was just like a doweling type stick that you could put up in the stem that would prevent them bending. I don't tend to do that anymore because I rely on the things I've got around it to do that for me. So here we have some wonderful pussy willow. I absolutely adore this. I don't know why I adore it so much, but I do. Comes out about this time of year, November time into Christmas and all the way through to the next couple of months. And why it is such good, fantastic value is, as you can see behind me, these two vases of pussy willow here that I've dragged in from the other room just to show you are from last Christmas. So they're things I had left over, threw in a vase, put on my fireplace, and actually they dried just like that. And here we go, and a year later, ready to be thrown away now probably, but I will do when I replace it with something nice like this. So very good value. You know me, always talking about good value. So we've got our pussy willow, and the other thing I'm going to put in with them is some eucalyptus. Now you can put any foliage you want really, but the reason I'm choosing eucalyptus is because if that water in there goes too low, a lot of foliages will you won't notice over Christmas and they will just crimp up and die, and what a shame. But with eucalyptus, they will literally almost dry like this. They will go a bit more silvery, but they can just dry like that. So it wouldn't be the end of the world because you're not putting very much water in the bottom. So there you go. This variety is called Baby Blue. And it's got this definite formation, but you can use any eucalyptus you like. There are quite a few varieties actually. So let's put some support in. So I'm going to snip the bottom of the eucalyptus, and I'm going to start putting some eucalyptus in around my Amaryllis to give it some support. If you have to cut any of the lower branches off, ever so handy to keep for that table centre, something in a smaller vase for the table, etc. This is where I come unstuck, don't I? Because I'm going to have to think about what's going on around the front, which must be looking rubbish by now. I'm tucking those down. As always, stripping off the lower leaves. Just bear with me. I know that they're not all standing upright yet, but they will be. Right. Let's get rid of that bit. And now let's put our pussy willow in. If you didn't want the pussy willow look, you could use coloured twigs, gold, silver, any colour really. Bronze is very popular now. Always cut the ends of the flowers off. And I just believe that this is enough support around the flowers just to keep it from buckling over. And again, you can keep pussy willow in deep water, that's not a problem. Once you once the water, they're starting to dry anyway, they will sit without water in it, like these have, for a long time. You don't have to worry about them. Sometimes I think flowers look wrong at Christmas in people's houses. You've got the Christmas decorations up, you've got your baubles, and then someone comes to dinner and gives you flowers that are like pink, chrysanthemums or something, and they just seem to look wrong. But there's some things that don't look wrong, and that Amaryllis is one of them. Now I think I'll just quickly turn that round and see what it's looking like from one angle. Really, really tricky to do this. It's not an easy job, but I might just put a little bit more eucalyptus around the front there, just to make it look lush. If you didn't want to go to the expense of all this eucalyptus and you wanted to use foliage from the woods, etc., that's fine, just keep topping it up. That's the trick. If you can remember to top it up, I think it's fine. But I think that's what happens at Christmas. We all work hard until that Christmas Eve, don't we? And then we all flop. We stop, quite rightly, which is exactly what we should be doing. Right. I hope, and I'm not convinced that looks okay. But all in all, you've got about eight or nine amaranthus there, and you've got two bunches of eucalyptus and one bunch of pussy willow. There you go. Have a go.